Right, I'm here with Fred, who's going to tell you where he's from because it's a bit of a mouthful. Fred?
Yeah. So I'm Fred from the East Midlands Reserve Forces and Cadets Association. So we're an arm's length delivery body on behalf of Ministry of Defence.
Okay. What does that mean? In reality, what do you actually do for veterans or people in forces?
Cool. So there's two main elements to what we do. What we're here today, we work with businesses who see supporting the defence community as the right thing to do. So for us, the defence community is serving reservists, former service personnel, regular war reserves, so the veteran community, spouses, cadet force adult volunteers, former cadets, and families in general. So essentially, we work with businesses who see it as the right thing to do, almost doing their bit for national defence and the people who have gone above and beyond. So we run the Armed Forces Covenant, which is a free mechanism ministerially backed by which employees can signal their support to the defence, as well as the employee recognition scheme for those who go a bit further and contribute by giving serving reservists additional paid days leave and support around training, or maybe do careers days for cadets looking to broaden out their skill sets.
And how do you get into working with businesses? I would imagine that if someone in the business has served or is in a reservist, it's quite an open door. Do you therefore target those people because it's easier, or do you try and create greater awareness in general and sell the idea that they work with you?
It's a holistic approach, and every business is different. So we work with the micro to the macro. So some of our employees who are engaged are 1- and 2-man bands who think, this is just something that I want to do. When they fly the flag forwards, they spread the word. That's great. And we use their advocacy to bring new people to us, and then we fill in the gaps of their knowledge. In other cases, exactly as you've said, it might be someone who's serving or has served, who maybe thinks, actually, there's more we could do. I know who we need to go and talk to. And then we'll work with them on setting policies or giving them different ideas, sharing best practice. And then we attend events like today, where we just spread the word as wide as we can and see who's interested.
And so events like this then, is this something that you know works?
It can do. It's all about interpersonal connection. As with everything else, when we have the right conversations with the right people and we can help them see the value our people add, it kind of sells itself. So if you get someone who has served or who is serving or who's a cadet force adult volunteer, they have what I call an expanded stressometer. So they can deal with the daily crises of business life because it's not that much for most businesses. Right. And people like the contingency they bring, they like the characteristics of the loyalty, the integrity, contingency planning as well. Some of our businesses specifically seek former service personnel to employ because they bring with them an element of planning for the worst case that enabled them to thrive even in the midst of COVID. And we've got a number of case studies around that we chat to people about.
Yeah, I bet. I'm quite interested in the idea of resistance here because, I mean, personally, I don't think it's particularly controversial at all, but people have strong views, don't they, about defense, conflict, whatever it is. Do you in any way try and gauge early on whether this is an organization that is warmer and maybe this one is not so warm? Do you know any of that?
Absolutely. We have to have frank and honest conversations. So my background involves sales, and one of the core objections in sales is, this is not for me, I don't like it. If that's the case, we don't try and push it on them. People either see it as the right thing to do or they don't. If there's a chance that we can gauge that early on and sort of answer questions they may have, correct misapprehensions, then absolutely we will. If they turn around to us and say, I'm just morally not with this, then absolutely, that's kind of the point of a free society. Everyone can have their opinion.
But you do that. Do you do that early?
Yeah.
So that no one's wasting any time.
Absolutely. It's thinking of the customer journey. It's part of that awareness building. So in building awareness, we can answer those questions, allow people to make the decisions they need to come to an answer that maybe brings them on a journey with us, maybe introduces them to the world of the defence community as we see it, shows them the benefits, or allows them to run into something where they go, actually, this isn't for me, I'm not that interested, whatever. Which one we go, but well, thanks for your time anyway. If you ever change your mind, you know where we are.
Right. when you mention things like the sort of skill set that someone that's been in the forces maybe has as a result of them serving, I'm quite interested in the idea of how you help them get into the workplace, or perhaps help the workplace see that that's valuable. What sort of techniques do you do to kind of open people's eyes to that?
So we partner with what's referred to as the single services. So the Navy, the Army, the Air Force. They run a whole variety of workshops, open days, taster evenings, aimed at, to some degree, opening people's eyes to what reserve service might do for them right now. And in some instances, what military thinking can bring to the business environment. So the Army runs something called Exec Leader and Future Leader. These are sessions that are run in conjunction with University Officer Training Corps. Sometimes they bring the team from Sandhurst in. And essentially it's high-level strategic thinking through the military lens and how that can be brought across into the civilian world. So this is aimed at the senior C-suite level. Future Leader is for the emerging mid-level managers who are on that track. And again, it shows them a different way of approaching problem solving, task management, personnel management. Mission command is a big thing. So here's our strategic objective. You can now fill in the gaps because I've given you enough. This is a very simple, oversimplified version of it. So that's one way we can do this, is show, don't tell. Another way we can do it is just have a conversation and find out where people have questions and then answer them as we go forward.
It does seem very much like, one of your objectives is to paint the picture of what's possible that maybe somebody is unaware of, and that storytelling aspect.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Human beings communicate through telling stories, full stop. We always have, we always will, for the foreseeable. So in telling the story of what we do, we have to allow people to see themselves in it and what their contributing factor is. The very simple fact is, where we have employees who come on board with reservists who are willing to give them extra paid days leave to train, they are fundamentally contributing to the health and well-being of the nation by supporting national defence, because every single person in uniform is someone who tomorrow might be called on to provide emergency relief in the region in the event of floods, as we've seen recently. Likewise, they might be supporting emergency rollout of medication, as we saw during the pandemic, or filling in essential delivery roles for fuel dispersal, as we saw at the end of the pandemic. So there's a lot of different roles that can happen there, and sometimes people like to know that they've done something that helps the nation just a little bit. And some people just see it as the morally right thing to do, in which case they're not really interested in the details. They just want to know they're doing something that helps. So it's kind of a bespoke journey that we bring everyone on, because it has to be. Not everyone employs enough people to say, yeah, I'll open my doors, let's have some reserves. And not everyone employs members of the defence community. That's fine, provided they see it as something that's right to do and they're willing to fly the flag. We'll go on that journey with you.
Well, it sounds like there's lots to do, lots of conversations to have. Thanks for talking to me. Good luck with the exhibition today. And just before we finish, just maybe tell people like how they can learn more about what it is that you guys do.
Perfect. So for anyone who's an employer who's interested, if you search for the Armed Forces Covenant, this is a scheme that's run nationally, so we have sibling entities around the country who can deal with you. Likewise, if you want to go a bit further than that, you can search for the Defence Employee Recognition Scheme. So it's another ministerially backed government award for business to go above and beyond. And if you want to know more about the MOD in general, if you search Army jobs, they'll show you the full range of careers that are available, which you might be able to benefit from should you get someone who is a service leaver bringing those skills to your business.
Fantastic. Thank you, Fred.
Very welcome. Thank you.